Welcome to the Explainer. Today we're going to break down something absolutely fundamental, the hidden structure behind every single web page you visit.
So if you're learning the code, you've probably had that moment where HTML just seems to have a mind of its own, right? You've got some elements that stubbornly stack on top of each other, while others are totally happy to just line up side by side. What's going on there?
Well, it turns out it does kind of have a mind of its own. Every single HTML element has one of two secret personalities. And trust me, understanding these two is the absolute key to going from messy code to clean, professional web development. Okay, let's dive in. First things first, let's solve this central mystery. Why do some elements stack and others don't? Okay, so personality number one is the block element. These are the divas of HTML. Think about paragraphs or headings. They demand their own line and they take up the full width available, stretching as far as they possibly can and pushing everything else out of the way.
Then you have personality number two, the inline element. These are way more social. They're happy to sit next to other elements on the same line. Think of links or span tags. They only take up as much space as their content actually needs.
So that's the crucial difference, right? Block elements create the major structure, like the big architectural pieces of your page. Inline elements, they live inside that structure. They're for the little details, like styling a single word or creating a link, all without breaking the flow.
And you use these every day. The div tag, that's your classic block element. It's the ultimate generic box. And the span tag is its inline counterpart. Perfect for styling just one little piece of text inside a bigger paragraph.
All right, so because divs are such useful, all-purpose containers, they've become the default tool for building layouts. But, and this is a big but, that comes with a price. You've seen this a million times. A developer starts with a big wrapper div, and then inside that, they'll put a header div, a nav div, and a content div. It's a really common pattern. But this can get out of hand really fast, leading to what developers on Reddit call divception. A confusing maze of nested boxes that's a nightmare to read and even harder to maintain.
So how can you even see this hidden mess? Well, the developer community has this awesome little trick. A user on a Reddit forum shared this classic debugging tip that lets you visualize all the complexity instantly.
It's just one line of CSS. You apply this snippet, and bam, a red outline appears around every single element on the page. All of a sudden, you can see the hidden skeleton of divs and immediately spot where you might have gone overboard.
And this trick just perfectly illustrates the problem. A div is just a box. It has no meaning. Your browser, search engines, they have no idea if a div contains your navigation, your footer, or the main article. It's just a box.
And that right there is exactly why so many experienced developers push for a much better way, writing semantic HTML.
Think of it like building a house. Are you going to use a giant pile of generic unmarked bricks for everything? Or are you going to use labeled bricks for the foundation and the roof? Semantic HTML is like using those labeled bricks. It gives your code meaning right from the start.
So the whole idea is that instead of using a generic box for absolutely everything, you use a specific element that actually describes its own content.
The difference is all about clarity and function. A nav element, well, it's obviously for navigation. You don't need a class name to tell you that. And a real button element comes with built-in features, like being usable with a keyboard, that a generic div you just styled to look like a button doesn't have.
And this matters a lot. According to the Mozilla Developer Network, the benefits go way beyond just cleaner code. It helps with everything from SEO to mobile performance, but honestly, the most important benefit of all is accessibility. For someone using a screen reader, a page made of meaningless divs is like a book with no chapter titles. It's just a wall of text. But semantic tags like H1 and article act like signposts, allowing them to actually navigate the content and understand the page structure.
So how do you actually put this into practice? Really, it's all about shifting your mindset. You have to stop just making boxes on a screen and start structuring a narrative with your code.
Here's a pretty simple guide. The div isn't evil. It still has a super important role, but it should be your last resort. The tool you use only for styling or layout when no other semantic element actually describes the content. That's its real job. Because clean, semantic code doesn't just look better, it works better for everyone. It's a better experience for your fellow developers, for search engines, for users on mobile devices, and most critically, for people using assistive technologies.
Your code stops being just a visual layout and starts communicating its own structure and purpose.
So the next time you open your code editor, just ask yourself that question. Are you making boxes or are you telling a story? That's all for this explainer. Thanks for watching.